Hello, beautifuls. Many of us, whether we did it when we were young or we still do it, have watched the clouds and tried to identify what they look like. Oh, this one looks like Marshmallow Man, or this one looks like a horse or a fairy. And it's interesting when we do that with somebody else, right? We might see the same thing, but oftentimes the person we're with identifies that shape as something else. And the moment that that is suggested to us, generally speaking, our perception shifts a little bit and we're like, oh yeah, I can see that, right? And it's almost as if the cloud itself changes shape. What if we could change our reality as easily as we can change our perception of the shape of a cloud? The truth is, we can and we do all the time. That suggestion that our friend gives us, what the shape of that cloud looks like, and we now see that shape, that happens to us all the time. It's on a very quiet, subtle, subliminal messaging system. And we are every day having our reality shaped by the outside world unless we take control of what we believe to be true for us or not. Now, I know that this might be a new concept for some, and I understand that. But all of the information that we receive from the media, from our entertainment, all of this starts to create and shape what we believe to be true. And just as easily, we can focus on something else and create our own reality. I will give you a personal example. So, when the pandemic hit, the first 2-3 weeks, I was like everybody else. I was like, whoa, this is scary. What is happening? And especially because where I was staying was with somebody who was in the healthcare field, and she was being bombarded with all this information and was passing it on to me, and I was absorbing it. And so I allowed that to be my reality. Oh, the sun is changing. So I'm going to just, let's see, we're going to shift. And as, I don't know, if you've been on my channel for a little while, you know that I don't edit my videos. So, we're just going to work with this. So, in the beginning, here we go. Is that better? Somewhat, right? There we go. In the beginning, I too was very concerned and very afraid. And then I allowed myself, something didn't feel right, and I stepped back. And I started to investigate, and I started to look into things for myself. And as I did that, my reality shifted. So much so that during this whole procedure, and where I lived was very, very strict. They were requiring us to wear masks everywhere. They had the vaccine passports, and that wasn't my reality. So I didn't wear a mask. And I would go into public places where everybody was being required to wear a mask, and security people wouldn't even stop me at the door. And I had so many people approach me in an inquiring way, not angrily, but they were like, how did you get in here without a mask? Because I tried and they wouldn't let me in. And I said, because it's my reality. I believe, I know, I am experiencing that it is my right to breathe clean air. That it is my freedom to be able to walk around without a mask and share my smile with other people. And it made me think of, I don't know if any of you are Star Wars fans, but I don't know which episode it is. I watch them, but I'm not a huge fan. The one where they're looking for the droids. And he says, these are not the droids you're looking for. And they let them go through. And that's sort of what it felt like. It was like they didn't see me as a threat because I was living a different reality. And I stopped watching the news. I continued to do everything that I did before, except for going to the restaurants. And guess what? I got healthier. But in that place, I would have people messaging me from all over the world, and they'd be like, oh, how is COVID there? And it would like almost shock me, because I was like, oh yeah, that's a thing. It's not my thing, but it is a thing. And I'm not diminishing that people were sick, and I'm not diminishing that at all. But I lived my life in a different reality because I chose to see it differently. And this is the opportunity we have right now as individuals, as a collective, to look at life differently, to not buy into the system, specifically things like that we have to pay to be alive. That is like the most ridiculous concept ever, but it's only real if we believe it. If we believe we have to work a 9 to 5 to live, that will be our reality. And I know some people are probably right now being very skeptical of the situation. So I will add another experience for you. So the whole pandemic and being able to shift my reality with my thoughts was kind of a practice run, I think. Because once that all ended, I was being asked to challenge my reality about money and finances. And that is something that I've had a difficult relationship with for most of my life. And as some of you know, I recently went to India, and I was asked to go on this trip, and I didn't know how that was going to happen because I didn't have the finances to do that. And believe it or not, I went to India, and I was there for 5.5 months. I didn't spend one red penny of my own money in 5.5 months, not to get there, not to come home, not while I was there. And I know that that might seem like a miracle. It might seem unbelievable. And I, at one point, wouldn't have believed it either. But I was being asked to step into a reality where I could challenge what I believed about money, what was possible. And that's just the beginning of the things that we get to challenge, that we get to create. And it is my wish, my goal, my dream, my life's purpose for each and every one of us to challenge this illusion, to step out of the matrix and start creating a reality where we are all abundant. We all have what we need, and we all are enjoying life to the fullest, living from a place of love for the highest good of one another. And if you are interested in learning to create your own reality, to challenge the illusions that are accepted as reality around you, I would be honored to walk that journey with you. And my information is below. I thank you so much for listening to this perspective, as I do know for many it is new. And anytime that we are open and willing to listen to something new, we are expanding the opportunities and options that we have within our existence. Until we speak again, please be well.